As an entrepreneur and someone who works in the startup world, I am afraid to make this video. Today, we're going to talk about the loneliness in startups. I'm afraid today because I want this video to be a little bit sobering for someone watching, or if they are considering going into the entrepreneur world or going into startups, or maybe they are a startup founder right now and you're watching this maybe is a little bit of like, somebody hears me or somebody gets what I'm going through. Because in startups, being an entrepreneur is an incredibly lonely activity. I don't want to talk about it not as a warning, not as a this is terrible, or not as a you should be afraid, or I do not recommend becoming an entrepreneur. I want you to watch this video as a bit of a sobering thing, or okay, we're going to go into this project, we're going to become entrepreneurs, we're going to become a startup, and we're going to do this with eyes wide open. We're going to be totally aware of everything that could and will happen to you as a startup founder. Let's get into it. My name is Jordan P. Anderson. I run Nice Size Studio. We're a launch agency that helps startups launch their products using video, email, websites. And I've been an entrepreneur since 2014, running my own video production studio, Valley Films, and then switching to just my personal brand where I ran courses, sold digital products, sold ebooks, the whole deal like that. And working at Samcart for the last few years, I've come across tens of thousands of entrepreneurs. And so I feel like I could kind of talk about this. What startup is, and joining a startup and saying you want to be an entrepreneur I call it the deal with the devil. It is, you want to be rich, you want to grow this big company, you want to have a huge impact on the world. And the trade is you have to do this alone in some capacity. You cannot bring your buddies together. You cannot take your whole family with you and go up the mountain to this great big achievement. You have to do this alone. That is, if you're watching that and this idea is scary, that you have to do this alone and that you might be the only one doing this at all hours of the day, all hours of the night, then I would pause the video and go back to your 9 to 5. Have a great day. We'll see you later. So that's what I'm talking about. It's just you. It is sobering. That is just you. Even if you have a co-founder, if you're lucky to have a co-founder, it's still, you're not always with your co-founder. You're not always side by side working together. You're not going to open the laptop at 5 a.m. together and high five each other and get to work every single day. Sometimes there's work to be done and you got to build this thing over here. They're building this thing over there. And you just got to kind of have the motivation and find some ways. I should also mention in this video that I will give you some pointers at the end of like how to survive being alone as an entrepreneur and in a startup. This won't just be like the emotional boohoo, or this is the bad part of being an entrepreneur. So it is sobering. It's just you. And again, that shouldn't scare you. It should be motivating, or should not faze you at all. You're just blank eyes. Just like, yep, cool. I know I'm going to be alone. That's fine. That's part of the deal. That's part of it. Because in the startup world, being an entrepreneur, and even in 2024, with all the huge startup culture, Y Combinator stuff, the rise of apps, from everything from 2008, 2006 and beyond, startup world, entrepreneur world, in the tech world, it's still weird. You are not in the majority. I don't even know the percentage of people that become entrepreneurs or are entrepreneurs, but it is the super, super, super minority in the entire population. You're weird. You're a weird guy. To say you're an entrepreneur, I wrote that you can't even talk to your family about this sometimes because they don't get it. They don't get what you're doing. They don't understand why, okay, you're not making money now, but you will be making money soon, or have you made money, or who's paying you, or what about your health insurance, or so it's just so weird. You can't really talk to your family about it because they just don't get it, because a lot of their mind frame is in 9 to 5 or having stability or having steady income, or what do you mean you have 5 roommates? Like, how does that work? So it's weird. You can't talk to them about your product or what you're building or developing or marketing strategies that you're thinking about, or, oh, we just built this funnel. They don't know. They don't understand. You can't talk to your coworkers about it a lot of times because your coworkers, as much as you like to think they are your friends, they oftentimes aren't your friends. I'm not saying that from personal experience, but I'm just saying that, you leave a job, you think you're buddies with somebody, you leave a job, and then you never talk to them again, even though you were like buddy at that job. It's reality. So with you building a startup, that you making money at that startup, you posting that you're making money at that startup, that can stir jealousy in your coworkers, that could lead them to them showing your boss about your side project, them just kind of questioning your loyalty at the workplace. Be like, oh, well, it seems like you're making a lot of money in your startup. Congratulations. Are you going to be here next year? Are you going to be here in 6 months, in 2 months, next month? So it's kind of weird. Like, your coworkers are like your peers. You're all working in the industry together. And it'd be very tempting to be like, hey, I've been working on this thing. Check it out. That can be kind of risky. So yeah, gotta kind of watch out for that with coworkers. Again, I'm not speaking from personal experience, but I just know that is a thing, and that's human nature. The other thing too is you can't talk to your spouse sometimes about this. I'm lucky to have met my wife. I met her when I was just starting my entrepreneurial journey. I talked to her about the startup. I talked to her about Nice Size Studio. I talked to her about $1 Million Edit, all these projects that I've done in the past, businesses that I've built. But I can't tell you how many times I've tried to chew her ear off about things, or I'm struggling with something in the business, or I'm thinking about this new marketing strategy, and I just want to talk her ear off because I'm just like, she's like, okay, I get it. We don't have to talk about it. Can you stop talking about it? I love her so much, but I get it. Like, you can't always talk about the business with your spouse. Like, you have to talk about something else. This can't be, I'm not just the person that supports you in your entrepreneurial journey. Like, we've got to have something else a part of this relationship. So it's tough, talking to your girlfriend, boyfriend, your spouse. It could be like, you're kind of alone. You're like, or something stressful happens in the startup, or something happens stressful to you as an entrepreneur. You just got to deal with it yourself. You can vent and bitch and moan and cry to people in your life. But again, that's the deal with the devil. You put this on yourself. This is your business. This is your problem. And to cry and moan and bitch about it, that's not the people in your life. That's not their problem. They're here to support you. They're here to love you. But you made the deal. This is your deal. So you have to fucking deal with it. In the startup world, the higher up you get, you might start to build a team. This is another part of it being incredibly isolating. Like, you have to fire people. You have to hire friends. You hire people, and then you become friends with them. And then you hold all the power as the entrepreneur. You hold all the power as the co-founder to say, yeah, we have to let go of this person, or this person's not performing well, or hey, we appreciate the work you've done here, but yeah, I know we're buddies. I know we've been on road trips together, done company retreats and all the things, and hung out, but yeah, I have to fire you. And that's incredibly isolating because you're the founder. You're at the very top. You're all alone. I promise at the end of this video, I'm going to give you some pointers to make it through. The next part is like part of also being alone as an entrepreneur is you will argue with your co-founder, and that can feel isolating. You will eventually butt heads with your co-founder. There'll be some point in the business decision that you're about to make. I broke up with my first co-founder because we had differences in how the business should be run. I currently have a co-founder here at Nice Size Studio. You're going to have an argument on it. So even that, where you thought you were one together and were in this, and they had the same vision, and then you just have this split in some kind of difference where it's just you have an argument about it, and that can feel like, shit, I'm all alone. Is this guy going to quit on me? Is he going to take the business with him? I don't know. Customers aren't your friends. They are your customers. They paid you. It's nice to be friends with your customers. It's nice to be friends with your clients, or they use your app. They love it. They're talking to you all the time about how great it is, and you're DMing them. If you don't provide the service, or you stop providing the service, or your app starts to suck, or you don't help them get what they're getting, then they're not going to use your app. And yes, you continue to be friends after that, but you kind of have to walk that balance a little bit, that a client that pays you $5,000, $10,000, they're paying you to do a service. They're not paying you to be buddies with them. You can talk, you can network together, you can go out to dinner and celebrate the launch of whatever project you were working on, but they're still your client, and you're still the service provider. So there's still that power dynamic. So again, that's isolating too. So with all of this, all of that I just talked about, those are some harsh realities of the entrepreneurial world, the isolating feelings, I mean, I didn't even mention like the world of investors. I have no experience with investors, but I can assume that that is also isolating too, because like I just talked about, a client service provider relationship, it's probably the same dynamic of they're your investors. You are not their buddy. You're the thing that makes them money. And if you don't make them money, then they aren't going to be connected to you in any relational sense. So that's isolating too. But let's talk about this. This is what you truly need here to make it as an entrepreneur. You need a deep desire to do this. And you need to find what that deep desire is. And you need to find the thing that is going to, I'll even talk about this now. It's 6:30 in the morning. The entire house is asleep. I'm all alone. I wake up at 5 a.m., come down here in the dining room and work on this and make videos like this. That's isolating. I wish I could make stuff during the day. I have a 9-to-5. I'm here making these videos today. The motivation just to get up at 5 a.m., you have to have some kind of deep desire. It can't be surface level, because there are days that are going to be tough. There are days where you're going to be exhausted. There's days where you have nothing left in the tank, and there is no amount of coffee or energy drinks that's going to get you through this next period, or you're just fucking burn out and just have no motivation, and then just every day feels like a cloudy, rainy day. You have to have some kind of deep desire to do this. Some deep desires could be just your personality. Like you're just built this way. You're like, you have to build something on your own. Even if you're working at a 9-to-5, you're like still tinkering on the side of, I'm still building something on the side. Like I need to have this creative outlet or start a business or just do something. Like you just have to know that that's part of your personality. The other thing too is this is more noble and this is less like deep personal desires. This is the problem that you're solving. If you truly care about this problem that you're solving as a startup founder, God bless you. That's a motivation. Hey, this is a huge problem. We have to solve this. I'm waking up every single morning to try and solve this. Fucking great, dude. Do it. The other thing too is your experience at 9-to-5s. You've been in the 9-to-5 world. You've worked full time for an employer, and you just know that your personality, this ain't it. You cannot survive this. You might be self-sabotaging yourself a little bit at your 9-to-5, but you just know that there's no going back. Like I have to be an entrepreneur because I've tried the 9-to-5 and it does not compute. It's not going to work. So that could be a deep desire. It's kind of like the anti-desire, like the thing you are pushing towards, or this could be the thing you're pushing away from. The thing too, this is, I have 2 18-month-old boys, and support for your family and making money is a fucking pretty good desire. Not ashamed to say this, like we're in this entrepreneurial world journey to make some money. We're here to, like, shit's tough out there. Shit's expensive, and you want to build a better life. If you want to build a better life for your family, that's a pretty fucking good motivation. I'm not going to apologize for saying I want to run Nice Life Studio to make a lot of money. That's the deal. That's what I'm trying to do here. No apologies. And so that is a deep desire. But yeah, to support your family, I want to grow my family. I want to give my family a better life than what they currently have right now. Have security and safety and money in the bank and the sense of we're good. We're good for now. Like that's a great sense to have. And that's a great desire to wake up at 5 a.m. and say, I'm going to fucking do this because this is why I'm fucking here. So of all these, which one of these resonates with you? Or did I leave something out? I should say this too, like in the comments below, if you watch this so far, we're at roughly the 15-minute mark. Tell me what your deep desire is as an entrepreneur. Like, why are you into this? Don't give me the shit you tell investors. Give me the real shit. Like, I'm here to do this because I hate my 9-to-5, or I want to make some more fucking money. Put it down below. Let me know. So let's talk about some things that you can actually do. So we've talked about the sobering horrors of loneliness as a startup founder. Then we talk about the deep desires that you have that's going to motivate you. There's no amount of, you have to have something here to deeply desire you to get up and actually do the work, because there's a lot of shit you don't want to do. And there's a lot of shit you have to do. You got to find that motivation. Listening to Tony Robbins and drinking energy drinks is not good enough. So here's some things that you can do to cope with loneliness. I won't say like deal with loneliness, to cope with the loneliness in startup. And that's build in public. That's a very popular thing to build in public. I struggle with build in public. I guess this is technically, I'm building in public with this YouTube video, but to post progress shots, to post the Stripe dashboards, to post how much money you made last month. My boss follows me on social media. Your coworkers follow you on LinkedIn and social media. And that's kind of goes back to, okay, if you're posting all this shit all the time and they see that you're having success over there, that can kind of make them feel uneasy, or it's awkward around the water cooler. Oh, hey, look, clearly you're killing it, dude. So I guess you don't need us here. That's my problem with building public. If you're living at your mom's house, you're living for free, you're in college, you have some kind of like security blanket where you don't have to risk your 9 to 5 getting pulled out from under you. Build in public as much as you want. To do a daily vlog, you've got money in the bank to do it, do it. The other thing I say, and this has helped me, is to sharpen your skills constantly. The reason you're probably waking up at 5 a.m. or the reason you're probably working till 2 in the morning or pulling an all-nighter is because you lack a skill. And you're probably working too much when you should be working faster, more efficient. And that's a skill gap. So if it takes you a long time to do something, that is a skill that you need to develop and work on and improve yourself. Go take a course, go take a cohort, find a mentor, find a coach, find someone that can go steal some videos, go read a bunch of books, listen to podcasts. Find a way to close that skill gap so that you can do a skill, do the task that you need to do in your business, and not have it take hours and hours. If you're trying to, let's say you're an entrepreneur and you want to make YouTube videos, for example, making YouTube videos takes you 3 or 4 hours a day, or 3 or 4 hours, or 2 to 3 hours a day. Maybe I'll be more realistic. If it's taking you that much time in your day, that's not very sustainable, and that's going to take you a long time, and you're working your ass off making these YouTube videos, and then eventually you don't do that, and then that strategy isn't effective because you weren't consistent enough to follow through with it. But if you learn the skill of video production or content creation or getting better at making YouTube videos, or like how to be more efficient in editing, things like that, then that can make you more efficient. That means you don't have to work 20 hours a day. You could work 10 hours a day. You could work 12 hours a day. You could work today I'm just going to do 9 to 5. Spend time with my family, spend time with my spouse, whatever it is. And that's because you lack a skill. So work on your skills. That's a great thing to do. Meet other entrepreneurs, but then if you don't like networking, meet other entrepreneurs. That's probably the only people that get it, that get what you're going through, that actually care, that you can vent to. They have similar problems that you're going through. We're odd ducks out here. Like I said, this is weird. This is a weird thing that we're doing. So meeting other entrepreneurs, they're probably the only ones that get what you're going through. But if you don't like networking like me, I'm kind of a house cat. When I'm here at the house, I'm okay. I don't feel the need that I need to have a bunch of friends. What am I, 32 now? Almost 32. And I'm fine. It's okay. I don't need a bunch of friends. I have my wife. I have my kids. I'm okay. But if you're like truly alone in your basement or truly alone in your studio apartment, you need some buddies. You need someone to like FaceTime, talk about the entrepreneurial shit that you're going through, or can you believe that this happened today? You need someone to vent to about that. The other thing is, this is kind of built in public, but create videos and podcasts like I'm doing right now. This is venting. This is me talking about the business while also being helpful to the viewers watching at home. Create videos, create podcasts. This is a way that you can talk about the behind the scenes of your journey, documenting your journey. I believe that as Gary Vee, Alex Hormozi cliche that shit is. I think you should be doing some kind of behind the scenes of like, here's some tabs on building it. Here's what I've been doing. This is also a way for you to vent about things. You can make vent videos. You make them, don't publish them. Do whatever you want. I don't care. But just, you've got to get the demons out of you a little bit. There's a lot of stress with entrepreneurship, and you got to get the demons out somehow. So for me, like this, making these videos, talking about this content, sharing the skills that I'm learning, talking about startup world is a great way to squeeze the sponge out and get all the demon juice out. Demon juice. That's a great new phrase today. Writing as well. Writing, I can't do journaling. I've tried journaling. I can go, like, to do my journaling streak, we're talking like 2 days. 2 days tops, that's my journaling streak. But writing in general, writing your thoughts, creating content, writing out a podcast outline, writing is a great way to get it out, is to talk about it, is to vent about it, is to, if you can write, do a blog post or do a podcast or a video and make something useful out of your writing, even better. Writing also helps you articulate how you're feeling. You might have a lot of feelings, doubts, anger, stress, but if you kind of write it out, what am I afraid of? Or what is the worst that could happen? Writing that out actually is a very sobering feeling. It's very nice. The last thing is, this is the most abstract one, but the realest one is just to keep going. You feel stressed right now, you feel lonely, you have to just keep going. That's like I said, you have to, once you found that deep desire as an entrepreneur, you have to keep going. You've got to go. There's no other choice. You just have to keep going. You have to know yourself. You have to know your personality. You have to know the type of person you are, what motivates you, what sends you down a spiral, when you're feeling burnout, you need to know those signs, and then you need to know how to cope with those signs. You need to know how to deal with burnout. You need to know how to deal with stress in your business. Watch your addictions. My addiction is alcohol, probably. I'm afraid to admit that. And I'm watching that, and I'm trying to keep tabs on that. But if your addiction is TikTok, if your addiction is porn, it's whatever it may be, keep an eye on it. Keep it under wraps. Don't keep it under wraps, but keep it in check. Or just, again, going back to knowing yourself, like, this shit is our addictions are how we deal with our stress. And as an entrepreneur, it can be like, when we're all in on something, we're all in on something. So watch out for that. Just some advice to my younger self. And then reflect. This is also something great to do too. Reflect, meaning you don't have to write in a journal, you don't have to talk to a therapist, but just realize where you are, and then take into account all the great shit that you've achieved this week, all the great shit that you've achieved last month, last year, leading up to this, where you are. Even like thinking about the good stuff, think about the bad shit too, and think about the problems and mistakes you made. Or it's so easy as an entrepreneur to be a burning ball of fire that just keeps pushing through space. And sometimes you have to I don't know about the problems. I don't think about the problems. I don't think about how the success or goals. You're just so laser focused on just pushing forward into space. It's good to pause for a second. Or as you're burning your ball of fire through space, think about, just be self-aware of what's happening. Be aware of where you actually are in your business, who you are in your business, what type of person you are in your business, what type of person you were when you first started this process, and just being aware of all that, thinking about that. I'm not saying swirl and ruminate about this stuff, but you have to take into account. You have to know what just happened. Know if this is what you want to keep doing, or if this is the direction you want to keep taking your entrepreneurial business venture. This is it, man. I feel better. Thanks for watching, guys. My name is Jordan P. Anderson with Nice Life Studio. I hope this helped. Let me know in the comments. Yes, what are your deep desires as an entrepreneur? Let me know. Hope this helped. Save this video for later. Share this with a friend who is an entrepreneur. They might need it, and they might be very lonely. You need to cheer them up with this video. This video is meant to be cheerful and hopeful. Here are the facts. Here's the sobering facts. Here's how to deal with it. Good luck. We'll see you on the next one.